Okay, hi guys, I am Aryavan Sethi and I'm making this video because I got a lot of questions regarding my recent travel from Mumbai to Vancouver as I traveled on a study permit or a student visa, and it's a lot of people are trying from India to travel to Canada on a student visa, and due to COVID, there are a lot of issues. So I'll tell you my own experience and my own route which I had taken. So my route was from Mumbai to London for via Air India, and from London to Toronto via Air Canada, and Toronto to Vancouver via Air Canada. So this was my route. I'll tell you what hell I had prepared. So the documents I had taken with me was my letter of acceptance, my payment receipt, my automation email, which had specifically said that I had a permit to study in Canada, and obviously my student visa and my passport. That's actually good enough, but as you know, these restrictions have arrived uh, due to COVID, and because as you see the IRCC website, which specifically mentions that you need to have your student visa approved before 18 March 2019, and you should have on-campus lectures. Only then you're allowed to travel. So on the basis of this, I had obviously my visa was fortunately approved before 18 March, so I had no issues about that. But regarding the on-campus lecture, as you know, most of the colleges currently are on a online basis, and everyone is actually on the online basis except for some science colleges who are having some experimental laboratory where you need to travel and have on campus lecture. So in my case, as I had online lectures, I had requested the university for a support letter. It's good when you all ask from your university for a support letter, because this university sends a support letter wherein my university has specifically mentioned that has the restrictions to for offline college or on-campus college until 31st July. Okay, I'm sorry to say specify in between. My flight was on 18 July, so plus 14 days quarantine, whatever it was, and my college was starting offline was starting on 2nd of August. So as my college had in the support letter, I'll specify again, I had specified that as the restrictions for the offline campus is just for till 31st July, and if the provisional restrictions are removed, we will start campus lectures from August, and all the students present in August in Canada are allowed to start the on-campus session. So this was specifically mentioned in my support letter. So I showed this support letter to the support letter is very useful at everywhere in your Air India counter to your immigration office. So now I'll explain you how did I go about it. So as I told you, I on 18th I was traveling. I went to the Air India counter where they asked me few documents. First, I showed my letter of acceptance and a timetable. They take the picture of it and send it to on WhatsApp to a person called ALO, which is the airline licensing officer who sits in the Canadian embassy. So he saw my LOA and my timetable, and he rejected it in the first instance. But because he believed that my college is online, and so I don't need to travel to Canada. But so then I showed my support letter, which has specifically written what I told you about, and then it was accepted. It took around an hour to accept that letter, and I almost missed my flight, but fortunately got caught approved and I traveled in. So the issues the people face over here are that most of the people don't have a proper support letter or a letter from a college, which specifically says that their college is starting offline. So in this case, is the Air India counter or the ALO rejects it, and the ALO is who is ALO, no one knows. Second of all, issues that come out is if some people tried to fly before it, who had the visas approved after 18 months, were again not allowed to fly because of the same as it's in the ICC website. The thirdly, a person, as I was traveling in July, a person was trying to travel to Canada, whose college who had a proper support letter, but his college was starting in September. They rejected on the basis that he was traveling too early for his college date. So please don't travel a month before your college starting date, because they will reject it, and there are a lot of issues. So after I was approved, after a long wait and long argument, I went through the immigration thing, which was very easy. There was nothing. He just asked me questions or basic questions, which they always ask in immigration, like why you traveling and till what date you've been, what's your name and all that. Then I traveled in the Air India, where the Air India services of what do you call VBM Vande Bharat flights are not that good, honestly. So please get your own food, sanitizer, and mask, because in they have guidelines of that the middle seats will wear a PP kit. In my in my case, the PP kit was not available, and the middle seat people were sitting normally, so there was barely some social distancing. So I'll prefer that please take your. They do provide food, but which is packed. But it's better you carry your own food and sanitizer and face mask, and they'll provide you a face shield, which is quite helpful. Please use that if you think so. Then I landed in London, where the things were quite smooth. Nothing, no, they just asked me my documents, just referred it, and just were very friendly and let me go. So I traveled in Air Canada after that to Toronto, which was very good flight. Like I didn't think there was proper social distance maintained. They provide you food because obviously if you're traveling for so long, you can't carry so much food. So yeah, I guess the Air Canada food was quite safe to be eaten, and yeah, there were proper sanitizers and face mask and everything given by them. So yeah, that was a good flight, and you had an entertainment system and everything, which is there in normal flights during normal days of life. Yeah, so that was there, and then I landed to Toronto. I was expecting that my immigration would be done in Vancouver because as I was landing in, my final destination was Vancouver. But after my surprise, the immigration was done in Toronto only. And when the immigration was done, the first thing they ask you to is fill your quarantine plan on a page of paper. But if you can download an app called ArriveCan, I'll write in the comment section down, which you can fill the form and just show the a code which comes on the app to the officer, and the officer let you, which saves time at the airport. So in my case, I had downloaded the app and showed him the code. He let me go. Then immigration was very slow because there are only due to social distancing only there 2 or 3 immigration officers, and it takes a lot of time. The first of all, the immigration officer, before you go to the immigration officer, there's an immigration form they make you fill, which you write like what foods are you carrying any guns or ammunition and all that stuff. So there's an officer who just checks it and explains. So in my case, he asked me just a basic question that what is my plan to eat in the quarantine. So I told him that I was planned. I carried some ready to eat food, which I'm going to eat over that time. So he specifically told me that you had not mentioned that you were carrying food from India in the immigration form. So he just circled that, which was very scary for me. Then he sent me to the proper immigration system where there were 2 or 3 officers who checked it. So they ask you basic questions about like which college are you joining, your letter of acceptance, your payment receipt, your yeah. And so to check whether your college is on campus, he asked me my timetable. I showed him my timetable. I showed my support letter also to him, and I got a president email that they were planning to start the college. I showed that even. Uh, so yeah, so they was very simple. I guess it just took 4 to 5 minutes over there, but the line was quite long because of which I missed my flight from Toronto to Vancouver. But yeah, as they shifted me the timing, but I had to wait 13 to 14 hours at the airport. But yeah, once you get your study permit over there after the on the immigration, yeah, it's worth waiting. And the Toronto airport is majorly empty, so there is no risk of COVID over there. And then I traveled from Toronto to Vancouver, where it was again a good normal flight. They don't provide food in the domestic flights, so preferably carry your own food. And yeah, then there was no checking or nothing at the Vancouver airport. They just let me go without anything because as it was a domestic flight. So I went into the quarantine home, which I booked an Airbnb and stayed there 14 days. You can order groceries. I'll if you want to know which groceries, you can comment down. I'll tell you from where you can order groceries in Canada, specifically in Vancouver, because I don't know about other locations. And specifically, I'll tell you one thing. There are few students who came after me and few students who landed in Montreal. The immigration officer asked them an IELTS certificate. IELTS certificate. He didn't ask me, but please carry your IELTS certificate when you're with you or the original one. Because the thing is that, they usually check your English when you talk to them. And a lot of times, we are in fear when we speak to them and we stammer sometimes. So they believe that, he might not have a proper IELTS certificate, and that's why they ask. But, it's just a fear out of which you might actually lose your control over language. So please carry your IELTS certificate because in Montreal airport it's asked a lot to students. And yeah, that's it. I guess please carry. So the things I want to make sure that you will do is first of all proper quarantine plan. Second of all, have a proper LOA. Get a support letter from your college. Be confident when you're dealing with the Air India counter or with the immigration officer, because these are 4 things which will let your flight go. See, there are cases of people who have entered and keep cases who have not entered. The only difference is the confidence and the documentations you have. Please get the support letter from your college and show it to them. Show any kind of proof which shows that how you have on-campus letter. they won't reject. The immigration officer here are very friendly. They don't question you too much even. They won't deport you or anything. There are very rare cases unless and until your visa is approved after 18 months, they might deport, and or else they won't deport you. But the problem is the Air India and the ALO. Please try and convince them. Please be confident. If you need to argue with them, it's fine, but be confident over them. That's important. I am. This is the end of the video. If you have any questions, please ask in the comment section. I'll be very happy to answer. Thank you, guys.